Hello again, fellow modelers. Armando here with DLC Model Builders, and I am beginning a new build. Another one in my comic book and superhero related series. This is Venom, the infamous Venom, arch enemy of Spider-Man. This is a 1/6 scale, at least I think it's 1/6 scale, could be closer to 1/5 scale, it's pretty big. Resin kit that I recently acquired from a member at the clubhouse. I had in my stash the Horizon Venom, as you can see, and I'll probably eventually build him too because I think it's a cool kit. I have him here for reference for color comparisons and such, but this one's just cooler to my eyes anyway. The base is really cool. It's got all this detail on it, and as you can see, it's got the manhole cover. There's a tongue there, and the lower jaw. This is a piece of a finger that broke off. The guy that sold it to me had warned me that had happened, but that's alright. The kit has the usual imperfections that resin kits have. I've already done some preliminary prep work on it. I washed the parts. I've been sanding some of the mold flash that is common to these kits. There's still some residual there, as you can see it, but I've removed most of it. Very faint. A lot of it's already gone. Some is still left there. You can see it. I haven't done the trunk yet, so you could see a better example there. There it is. That part I won't bother with because that's where the leg's going. As you can see, there's still some prep work to be done. Once that's done, then I'll begin planning the masking. Now the kit, the character in and of itself is a fairly simple color palette, black and white basically, very shiny to my eye. The teeth and the gums and the tongue are different, and those will be painted up that way. The fit is so-so. Let me show you. The arms fit better than the legs. Left arm here. Pretty good fit, as you can see. Some seams there that'll need to be worked on, and the surface detail will have to be matched up. That should be challenging. Oops. Good. That should be challenging, but no more so than other kits I've done. The left arm, same thing. Pretty good fit. Some work to be done back there. The legs are a different story. They're a bit poorer fit. This is the right leg. As you can see, the details don't quite even up. They do, but they're not very well aligned. So I'm going to have to do some work there to make them blend in. The back, there's a huge seam that'll probably require some Aves epoxy. The left leg, same story. The rear is better matched. There's just a standard seam there. The front, here by the groin, there's a fairly significant seam that's going to have to be worked, and it's in a difficult spot too. That should be kind of a pain. But that's alright, because at the very least, when it's in the groin, you can hide it with a fold and it doesn't have to be smooth. The lower jaw is also going to be kind of a challenge. As you can see, there's a huge seam there. And also underneath, both of which will have to be made to disappear. The tongue will have a seam, but it isn't a big deal. I can pin it so it doesn't break. And the finger, I'll just put a small pin in and stick it where it's supposed to go. So all in all, it's a pretty cool kit. If I can make this thing look right, it should be pretty spectacular. It's a big kit, so he's sort of standing like that with both legs splayed out and with his arms spread. So he's a menacing guy, and this kit does appear to do him justice. So I'm looking forward to this one. This should be fun. As always, I'll be building it concurrently with other builds, as is my custom. Got several builds going on at once. But I'll keep you guys apprised of this one. Alright? Take care. Moving along on Venom. I've gone ahead and completed the initial prep work. Went ahead and sanded down the contact flash from the mold on all the extremities. I went ahead and glued the piece of the finger that had broken off right there, and I went ahead and glued all the parts together, the four extremities and the jaw. And as you can see, got a lot of work to do. It's a big thick seam, sorry, on both thighs, both buttocks there. It's not as bad in the front of the right leg, but the left leg has a huge step off there, as you can see. So I'm going to have to do some creative sculpting there. I'm more than likely going to use Epoxy because this is just too thick for a regular putty. It'll sink in there, it'll take forever, it'll take a lot of putty, and it won't add any structural rigidity to the kit, whereas epoxy, the Epoxy gets hard as a rock, and it actually adds structural rigidity and stability to the kit. For the arms, it's not too bad. There's a step off there, as you can see, so I'm going to have to do some molding there, but I think I can get away with putty on those areas. The lower jaw, as expected, has a very obvious seam at the back there that's going to be extremely difficult to work because sanding in there is going to be hard. Should be a challenge. And the bottom also should be challenging, given that not only is it thick, but as you can see there's a lot of surface detail that I'm going to have to resculpt after I've smoothed out and made the seam disappear. But that's okay. If I can make it look good, then it'll be a great sense of accomplishment. As far as the kit is concerned, I love the pose. Let me show you how I think it's supposed to go, and at least that's how I'm going to pose them. That broken post lays in there like that, and I believe, let me see if I can set my camera up so you guys can see him. Believe this is the way he is supposed to go, like that. Let me show you. Left leg on that indentation there, and the right leg I believe goes on top of the ball there from the broken lamppost. I don't have an instruction or illustration on the built-out model, and I've looked online as well, but it seems to fit very nicely there. It almost stands that way, so I think that's how I'll do it. It's definitely going to need pinning. This not so much because I don't think it's going to be stable, but because the trunk is so top heavy. The kit itself is so top heavy because the trunk is so thick that it'll tilt forward unless I pin it. So I'm gonna fill that in with some epoxy more than likely, and throw a pin through there to stabilize it. The manhole cover, I'll lay it in there somehow so you could read the New York City sewer on it. Probably lay it in like that someplace, and paint the inside black. But gotten a lot done today. It's getting kind of late. I don't think I'll be doing any work on the seams today. I was thinking of going ahead and mixing up the epoxy and starting, but thing of it is, if I don't use it all, it'll harden and I'll waste it. And well, I don't suppose I'll be doing the standing up of the model on the base anytime soon, because that has to be done after the base is painted and finished. So I'll probably just work on him first, get all these seams squared away, and then I'll paint him with the Spies black. I'm thinking what I'll probably do is I'll do an off black, which is almost black but not quite, and that way I can pre-shade the creases between the muscles with a darker black, and hopefully that'll bring it out some. But since he's all black anyway, it's going to be kind of hard to get him to pre-shade in any way that is effective. I might do the same thing I did with the black costume Spider-Man. The spider itself is white, so I'll be using black and white Spies, and I'll gloss him with a high gloss, because I think Venom should be slimy and shiny. And the inside of the mouth will go with a tongue color from Garage Kids, more than likely. The teeth, I'll do them. I like the way they look on the box of the horizon on that build-up that's shown there. They're kind of yellowed. So I'll do it that way. I think it'll look menacing and disgusting all at once. So he's coming right along. I think it's a cool looking kit. Anyway, talk to you on the next installment later on. More work on Venom. I've completed filling in the seams, the initial filling in anyway. I used Aves Epoxy, and here's what I was able to do with the growing seams. Obviously this is a first application, it's still soft and malleable. All those areas that were step-offs, I went ahead and just filled them in with the epoxy, sculpting basically to make them all part of the surface. That's one of the things I like about the epoxy. It's like sculpting with clay, and it hardens afterwards. I used it for the arms and the legs, as you can see. And for the bottom of the jaw. Of course, once this hardens, I'll be sanding and adding surface detail, blending it in a little bit more. For the inside of the mouth, I just use plain putty. I'm just going to let it dry now. The Aves Epoxy takes a couple hours to get hard as a rock, and obviously I won't be able to do any more work on it tonight. But that's a lot. It came out a lot nicer than I thought. As I've grown more comfortable using the epoxy, it turns out that it's very versatile, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. So I highly recommend it. Anyway, just thought I'd give you an update on the progress. Talk to you soon. So here's Venom completed. Finished him a couple of nights ago. I hadn't had a chance to finish the video. Worked on the base a couple of nights ago. That was the last step. Let me just go through what I did. Well, we'll go with him first. The last installment, I believe I was still masking. Well, I completed that. As you can see, came up pretty good. Just Spies white for the spider on the front and the back and on the eyes, and Spies black for the rest of the body. The gums and the tongue I did with Garage Kids tongue color and transparent tongue color, and the teeth I decided to go a more beige rotten type look, and I used I believe it was Desert Sand Tamiya, or Desert Sand paintbrushed on. I thought they came out pretty good. I added goo with the hot glue like I did with my xenomorphs. For the base, I did a base slate gray as the initial color. I painted this with alclad steel, stainless steel, and alclad steel for this, and the posts I used Tamiya green and red for the 2 wires and the additional little wiring things. I used some gunmetal and some light gray Tamiya to paint details there. The broken bulb and this bulb, I used a custom off-white color I have mixed up with spees that I use for some of these things. And I painted flat brown the pieces of wood, and then added a little bit of a wash, a black wash, to give it more texture. The stains and different colorations were the secret weapons tints that I used to dry brush on, terracotta earth, and several other ash gray and exhaust black colors, and some rust red to the manhole cover as well, as you can see. The base I coated with the Krylon matte for most of it, except the bulb, which I coated with the satin to give it an in-between. And that's my Venom. Oh, and I did with the gloss, the Krylon gloss, to give him the shiny look, because my take on him is he should look shiny. So there's my Venom. I'll go ahead and put them in my gallery over there. I'll set them up next to Spider-Man so that they can glare at each other. And on to my next build. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.